This is J. Krishnamurti's third public discussion in Madras, 1969-70.
This will have to be the last discussion or dialogue. And what shall we talk over together this morning?
To what extent memory is indispensable? Why should the mind be occupied?
What's that?
Why should the mind be occupied? To compare.
The importance of memory and where to draw the line so that memory, which is always old, doesn't interfere with the present. That's the question, wasn't it, sir? And also, somebody suggested that we talk over this question of why the mind is always occupied with something or other.
Psychological problems related to physical problems.
Or psychological problems related to physical problems.
What is the psychological implication of memory?
What are they?
What is the psychological implication of memory?
What are the psychological implications of memory? What?
What is the state of the mind which is not occupied?
Oh, what is the state of the mind which is not occupied? That's fairly simple to answer. Find out.
Feeling occupied a number of things. Many things struck me, and I feel fear of them also. And that seems to be basic.
Fear.
No, not fear.
What did you say?
The capacity of being hurt.
Capacity of being?
Of being hurt.
Shall we discuss that? The capacity of being hurt. Shall we go into that? Would you like that? In which is implied the problem of fear, naturally. So can we go into that one thing this morning so completely and totally that we walk out of it without any fear? Leave this pandal or whatever you call it without any fear. Can we discuss that? Would that be worthwhile? What do you say, sir? First, why is one hurt? Hurt being wounded, grieved, feeling of grief, sorrow, a sense of apprehensiveness, a feeling of insecurity. In which is involved the question of fear. We're asking why both physically and psychologically, which is psychosomatically, one is afraid. One has the feeling that one mustn't be hurt. I think that's fairly simple. Why physically one mustn't be hurt. That's clear, isn't it? Because it's such a waste of energy. and it takes a lot of time to get physically healed. So I think that's fairly simple, and we will come to it perhaps presently after we've gone into the question, why the mind and the heart, the psyche, the inwardness, inward essence, why does it get hurt? Why does it feel hurt? When we ask the question why, we are not looking for an explanation. The why is a question mark which needs investigation, not why and you tell me the answer. But together we are going to investigate, explore freely, without any bias and so on, into this problem, why the mind, the heart, gets so terribly hurt by a word, by a gesture, by an act, by what has been said in the past, or what you might say in the future, and so on. There is this constant apprehension of getting hurt. Why? To discuss this really quite deeply, one has also got to investigate the whole question of the structure and the nature of consciousness. Huh? Do you want to go into all this? It gets rather complicated. Do you want to go into it? I am not giving you enlightenment. Nobody is giving you enlightenment. There is no such person in the world who can give you something. You have to work for it. You have to observe it. You have to learn. There is no guru, no authority. Only one has to be free from all authority to learn. And that's what we are doing. We are asking why one gets hurt. Why the psyche, with all its complex reactions, both outward and inner, superficial and deep, why there is this sense of fear, of getting hurt, and therefore resisting. Leave the question of resistance for the time being out. We're asking why.
Are you asking why do we get hurt or why are we afraid of it?
Why do we get hurt, and why are we afraid of getting hurt? Both is implied in that question, naturally. You say something very pleasant, I am not hurt. You say something unpleasant, I am hurt. You say I'm a fool, and I don't like it. I feel angry, irritable. But you call me a friend, you say, what a lovely man you are. And I purr like a cat. Why? Why do these reactions take place? As we said, First, I think it is important to understand fear in relation to hurt. So we have to go into the problem of fear. Not only the physical fear of danger, but also the psychological fears, not only at the superficial level, but at the very depth of our existence. Right? So, let us first understand physical fears. Isn't it natural when you meet danger to react to it physically? Which is, when you meet a snake, poisonous snake, you react to it. Which is, you have been conditioned for thousands of years to react to the snake because of danger. To react to it. Is that fear? Though the brain cells themselves have been conditioned for millions of years to respond to danger, which is our conditioning, and when you meet a snake, the response is immediate, and we're asking, is that response fear? Or is it something else? What do you say? So I'm not talking, please. This is not a talk by me. We are trying to explore. It is fear, he says. Yes, it is a natural fear to respond to a snake. I'm questioning whether it is natural. Sir, don't. Find out, sir. Let's look at it for a little while. Look, sir, you met, I'm quite sure, a snake or other wild animals. You respond instantly. Now we're asking whether it is natural, that's admitted. But whether it is fear or intelligence. Wait, sir, I'm finished. Just a minute. You're too quick in answer. I'm just putting it out. Don't tread on the thing before you have seen what it is. I'm asking whether it is fear, however natural, or it is not that at all, but intelligence.
Intelligence and also fear, because sometimes it paralyzes and defeats itself.
Which is what? Which is non-functioning of intelligence, not fear. And do go slow, go slow, go slow. Fear, I do not know if you ever faced such a problem. You turn round the corner in a wood and there is a bear with 4 cubs. It happened to the speaker. And the mother bear, pushed these little cubs up the 4 trees and they are all scattered up. And then it turned round and faced me, faced the speaker. If there was fear, we were as close as that, 10 feet away. If there was any fear, it would have attacked. Because they smell fear. They don't like it. This is all well-known facts, sir. and it would have responded and attacked. Or was the response fear or intelligence? That's the whole problem. If it is fear, one gets confused. One is paralyzed. If it is not fear, it's intelligence that says, turn your back and go away. You say it is fear.
Because even if it is a soft snake, the appearance of it, you are suddenly taken by the sight of it, you react. So I think it is not intelligence but fear.
Oh my Lord. Sir, don't spin a lot of theories. First, look. Have you ever met any dangerous thing?
Yes, sir, I have met a snake.
Snake. Now wait a minute. If there is fear in the sense paralyzes you, that fear is that. When fear is very strong, you can't think clearly.
But sir, I did act.
Wait, sir. Go slow.
I had emotional.
Go
Because the stick can kill the snake, but I was afraid at that time, very cautious, to see that I had enough space to jump back.
Which is, if you are really afraid, you'd be paralyzed by it, wouldn't you? Huh?
That emotion is there.
And wait, sir, is it? Go slow, sir. If that emotion is there, if that emotion is very strong, if that feeling of that reaction is very strong, you are absolutely paralyzed. You don't see things clearly. I don't deny the emotions. I don't deny the response of danger. But I'm questioning whether when there is real fear,
You are using the word fear in the sense of the paralyzed.
paralyzed, a destructive, a blackness, a sense of panic. Yes, that's a good word. Do use that word, panic. You can't function. For the moment, for a year, for whatever it is. There is a sense of panic, and therefore no action takes place. And that panic is contagious. And therefore it will attack. They have tested this out, they have observed all this. Now, therefore I'm asking, when one meets danger, is the response fear in the sense we are using, or is it intelligence that says don't do this? Obviously, intelligence says run. Now, so physical fears can be met intelligently. That is, having had pain yesterday or last week, physical pain, the fear of it happening again, which is the fear projecting into the future, can be understood, say I won't do it. Right? Is that clear? I don't know if you haven't. One has had toothache or tummy ache or whatever one has had last week or yesterday, and you don't want it to happen again, so there is nervous apprehension that it might. And so there is a resistance, there is fear. That's one form. So we can deal with physical fears more or less simply and easily. But the psychological fears are much more complex. And we're going to deal with that. Don't now, after talking about it 20 minutes, don't say, what about my toothache? There are psychological fears. Now, what is fear? Fear, what does that mean? Danger, warning of danger. Now, is fear unrelated to anything else by per se, in itself? Is fear in itself exist, or does fear come into being in relation to something? We must be clear, sir. Right? It can only come in relation to something, right? I'm afraid of you. I'm afraid of what you might say. I'm afraid of death. I'm afraid of my wife beating, and so on, so on. So it is in relation to something. That is, you have said something which has caused fear in me, that is registered and stored up in memory, and when I meet you next, that responds, and therefore I am afraid of you. This is fairly simple, isn't it? Now, deeper level, at the so-called, in the unconscious, I don't like to use that word, but we'll use it for the moment, though it has got technical meaning and so on. There is the unconscious. There are innumerable fears in there, stored up. We all know this. Shall I examine all these fears one by one? You follow, sir? Huh? Let's look at it. Shall I examine them all one by one, analyze them, or and how shall I deal with them then? If I don't analyze them, how shall I deal with them? Right? Is that, have you understood? Now, we must be clear that analysis has no value. Right? That's where we are going to wait. That's where we're going to be hung up. So, an analysis implies the analyzer and the thing analyzed. Right? There is fear, and the analyzer says, I'm going to examine it. I'm going to investigate the cause of it, explore, look into. So the analyzer is an entity or something apart from what he calls fear, right? So there are two entities, fear and the analyzer who is going to examine fear, right? And he analyzes the causes. So he takes one fear of darkness, examines it, finds out his mother didn't feed him properly, and therefore he's frightened of darkness, or he takes another fear and examines it. So there is always, in analysis, the analyzer and the analyzed. And each analysis must be complete and perfect in itself, otherwise analysis has no meaning. Because if the analyzer analyzes, let us say, some anger, jealousy, it must be so complete that he is free of it. If he is not free of it, there is the remembrance and the wound of it, which he carries over with the next analysis. I don't know if you're meeting all this. You're being quick, are we? Huh? Good. Our brains are working good. So, each analysis must be complete so that it's finished with. Otherwise you take it over, carry it over, which is going to interfere with the next analysis. Right? Of course it. Right, sir? Our friend hasn't got it. We will come to it, right. So there is, in analysis, whether there is a professional analyzer or I analyze myself. In this process of analysis, there is always the analyzer and the analysed, the division. And therefore, resistance of one, right? And therefore conflict and waste of energy, which doesn't lead anywhere. I don't know if you're following all this. No, you don't. No, I'm afraid you don't. All right, let's begin again. What is implied? What is the structure and the nature of the analyzer? Your previous memories, previous knowledge, previous experience, previous analysis, and all that. He is the analyzer. Whether he be Freudian, Jungian, or Shankara, or this or that. He is the analyzer, and he is going to analyze. That is one part of the whole field of the mind, of the psyche, is going to examine the rest. He divides himself from the rest and is going to examine each one. He is part of the whole field, but he separates himself from that as an analyzer and is going to analyze all the parts. See what has happened. Why has he separated? When he's the other part, he's also one part. Why has he separated? So when you say it is the only thing possible, then you have no answer. I am asking why one part of the field of consciousness, psyche, mind, brain, heart, one part divides itself from the rest and says, I am going to analyze it. But, no, sir. Wait, don't be too quick yet. Why has he separated himself? You're brought up like that. Huh? You're not answering my... Please, sir, would you listen? Would you kindly listen before you answer this question? Because it's quite a complex question. Don't just throw in a lot of words. We are asking why one part assumes a superiority and says, I know more, or I know more, he assumes a superiority, let's put it that way, and tries to control and analyze other parts. Why has he assumed such a position of superiority? Sir, look, if you want to find out the answer, what will you do? And nobody to tell you, what are you going to do? Think? What do you mean by thinking? No, the question is, why has one part has assumed a superiority and is in a position to examine the other parts? What has given him the power, the authority, the position? The controller of the body. Who is, you see again, control of the body implies the body is separate from the controller. And we said, psychosomatically there is no division, because the body affects the mind affects the body. The brain cells affect the body, and so on, so on. They are interrelated, therefore there is no division. But here we have created a division. We have said the observer, the analyzer, the thinker, the experiencer is something superior. Now, what has given him this feeling of superiority?
When do I actually re-examine now? Can I do it only when I dislike something and I want to analyze it to get better? This is what has happened. I dislike something, anger or fear or...
Or would you say, why not one is superior or the other are not? Why is there division like this at all? Listen, sir. You get it, sir? Instead of saying why has one part assumed superiority, would not be the right question, much more valid, to find out why there is this separation. You don't even find out, sir. You are just repeating words. So look, your tradition in India and elsewhere says there is the Atman and the non-Atman, right? So there is the higher self and the lower self. So there is a division taken place already, right? That's your tradition, isn't it? No? You have the soul, which is another way of putting the same thing. So you have been brought up in a culture that accepts division. That's a fact. Not for you, sir. It is so. And there is that. There is the cultural influence, the tradition, the religious sanction which says higher and lower. Whether you call it the soul or whatever you like to call it, there is this division. God and the devil. The superior and the inferior. Atman and this, that. Right. So culturally, it's one of our conditioning. And we function that way. Now we are asking why there is this extraordinary division at all. When we understand why there is division, then we can see very easily why one division takes this a superior attitude. Right, sir? Why? Which means, why is there this sense of control? Control being one superior, the inferior. Why there is the division that demands and necessitates control. Right? You understand? Can we go on with that? Control. domination of one feeling over another, one desire over another, one thought over another. Why is there this feeling that things must be controlled? Do examine it, sir, don't just answer. Why? You know, when you're in the morning, when you wake up, you feel lazy. And if you're at all aware, you say, I mustn't be lazy, you get up. That's a form of control. And you are angry, you say, no, I mustn't be angry, I must control. Appetite, sexual, other kinds of appetites, you kind of hold it. Why is there this urge to control? Can you answer that question? The one who is assumed superior, wanting to control something which he doesn't want, which he doesn't like. So unless you understand this question of control, you won't understand the division. Why do you want to control at all? May we put it down that way? Wait, little hold. There is a pattern of behavior, a norm, established in your mind as part of your conditioning, part of tradition, part of culture, society, economic influence, the climate, the food, and so on, which wants to control. I'm asking, why do you want to control at all? Because you have an idea, if you did not control, there would be disorder. Right? There would be complete chaos. Deterioration, all that. It's simple. When we say disorder, that implies all that. Now, what is disorder? Please follow step by step what we have discussed. That is, we said, why does one part take superiority over the others? Why is there division at all? Why is there this desire of one wanting to control the rest? And we're saying, why is there need for control at all? And to that you say, if I didn't control, there will be disorder, deterioration, and all the rest of it. Do you know what disorder is? Would you be in disorder if you had no control? And you have no control, I assure you. You think you have. Would you be in disorder if you didn't control? So you have to find out what is disorder, right? What is disorder? Please carefully find out what is disorder. What brings about disorder?
Disorder is the conflict of mind.
No. How do I know disorder?
I don't deterioration. I am thinking of that and not. For example, if it is not controlled by appetite or
Wait. You see, you have already introduced a factor, which is if I did not control my appetite, it will affect my health. Therefore, I must control it. Now wait, listen to it carefully. First, through taste, pleasant taste, through tongue, you have spoiled the body. Right? Wait, sir, look at it, cook slowly, step by step, you will see it. You like some food, it tastes so nice. Huh? And you like it, you keep on eating it, you get used to it. The tongue dictates to the organism. The taste dictates to the organism. The organism has got used to it, right? And when that particular taste is right, the organism feels upset. And you want more. Then you have established the habit and you're caught in the habit. Therefore, the taste has spoiled the organism, which is the organism has its own intelligence. Now this is so, of course it has. But you have spoiled it through taste. Therefore you say, I must control it. Right? So I'm asking you, what is disorder? Please say, here is an actual fact of disorder, which is, the tongue tastes a food and likes it and keeps on eating it, has got used to it, which is made the body unintelligent through its own, and so taste, and when you want to stop it, there is conflict. And you say, I must control it. And that is the very essence of disorder. No? You first spoil the animal by doing all kinds of things. Then you say, if I don't, it'll rebel, therefore I must control it. That is habit, psychological, physical, all the habit. Then the awareness of that habit. Then, if you don't control it, it deteriorates. And therefore you say, I must control it. And therefore an effort, tremendous effort to control it. All that process is disorder. Right? I say to myself, why should I control at all? Why should there be control at all? Look, the body, the organism has been spoiled by drink, smoke, all kinds of things, because it's part of the tradition, part of the culture, part of this and that. My own peculiar idiosyncrasies and depending on it and so on. And I suddenly realize, if it is not controlled, it will deteriorate. And I begin to control it, force it, deny it, compel it, making the body more brutal, insensitive. Right? That's obvious. Now, is that necessary at all? Can there be the intelligence of the body functioning which tells me don't eat that? Which is the body becoming sensitive, not control it. I don't, you're meeting, sir? No? The body becoming sensitive, being sensitive. And a sensitive thing needn't be controlled. It will do the right thing. It'll eat rightly. Now, pursue that right through. If the mind has no need of control, it means the mind has to be extraordinarily sensitive, watchful. You follow? Therefore, there is no need of control at all. It is alive, and therefore no need. Huh? Therefore, there is no division. Therefore, there is no superior and inferior in the structure of the psyche. So how does one, if we can come to that, how does one keep awake, have this sensitivity? Because there is no sensitivity, then there is division. When there is one takes the superiority over the others, there is conflict, disorder. Conflict is disorder. Now how can the mind be so sensitive so that it is a head alive before something happens so as to control? You understand, sir? Now, you tell me how to bring, can the mind which has been asleep, can it awake and become extraordinarily sensitive? We're going to go into that. Habit is sleep. No, sir. Wait, we're asking a question. The mind, the brain, and the heart, they're all one thing. I'm only dividing for convenience. They've been put to sleep by habit, by so many things. Now, how is it possible to waken all that up, the mind, the heart, the body, the brain, the whole thing, make it awake? How do you propose to do it? Sir? Will you do it gradually? One day wake up, the next day go to sleep, and 10 days later wake up, another year later go to sleep, like that gradually? How will you do it, sir?
Watching the mind every moment, sir.
Huh?
By watching the mind every moment.
By watching the mind every moment. Who is the watcher?
Portion of the mind itself.
And therefore, when the mind, which is a portion of itself, is asleep, that part of the mind which is watching is also asleep. Don't, sir, don't. These are all just words. So how... my mind, observe it, please, my mind, this body, is asleep. Organically, nervously, psychologically, the brain, the mind, it's dull, it's insensitive. How is it to come to life? Through shock therapy? Huh? You understand shock therapy? Give it a good jolt, electrically, or give it a kick. Will that operate? Obviously not. Then what will do it, sir? You work it, sir. Let's find out. Huh? What's that? What? Instinct of what? So this is a challenge to you, right? I am asleep. I'm asleep. You're asleep. How are you going to wake up?
Subconscious coming to play.
Hey, you see? So what is, do we know that we are asleep? Or do we say one part of me is asleep, the other part is awake? Huh? Do we know we are asleep and not divided, one part and the rest is awake? You haven't gone into this at all. So, you have a child whom you really care for, love, and the child is dull, insensitive, has no feeling for the animal, for the ants, for the trees, nothing. How will you awaken him? Huh? How will you do it, sir? Huh? By showing him different things. Right? And he doesn't open it, he says, yes, that's very nice, and moves on. Now, we are doing exactly the same thing here. You're asleep, somebody says, look, 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 look. And you say, where? Sir, just listen, sir. You say child. I have asked you, sir, you don't have no feeling about all this. You're all too intellectual and second-hand intellectuality. You have no feeling for the child. If you had a feeling for the child, what will you do, sir?
You must establish a bridge between the child and that which you want to do.
Yes, you want to establish a relationship in which there is no sense of correction, no sense of punishment or reward. You establish it. That means what? Don't use a quick word and then... Sir, can you awaken a child if you have no love for the child? Huh? Right? If you have no love for the child, you cannot possibly awaken him. Right? So have you love? Huh? And wait, I'm going to see you'll come to it, sir. If you have love, you're awake. You don't have to awaken yourself. If you haven't got it, therefore you're asleep. You have filled the heart with the things of the mind. Now, my question is, how am I to awaken myself, knowing I am asleep, I am insensitive, dull, repetitive, repeating what others have said? How am I to wake up and throw all this out? Tell me, sirs. Sir, apply it to yourself, sir. Apply it. Kindly don't answer me. Apply it to yourself. You're asleep. How are you going to wake up? Huh? Fear? Who is Chaitanya? Your brother? Who is he? I'm sorry, I don't get this. Huh? Chaitanya? What? I'm lost. or awareness. You see, who is going to make you be aware if you're asleep? Huh? That's it. Which means what? To be involved with the question. Huh? Involved. You know what it means, huh? To feel that you're asleep, be involved in that. See, my God, I'm asleep. What's wrong? You don't do that. You say, yes, I'm asleep, and throw a few words. You're not involved. That is, you are intellectually looking and saying, yes, I'm asleep. You don't feel that you are involved as you would feel pain. Why? Why don't you get involved with this? You are very much involved with your family, with your daughter, with your husband, with your ugly little house, or the ugly husband and wife. Terribly involved, but here, which is much more important, you refuse to be involved. So, what is going to make you be involved? Environment? Society? The guru? The book? Right breathing exercise, this or that? Pressure from outside? Forcing, till you say, I'm waking up. Will that ever happen? On the contrary, environment wants you to be asleep. So if environment won't do it, with culture won't do it, tradition won't do it, the guru cannot possibly, he can pretend. And you say, come and sit with me and hold my hand, you will gain enlightenment. That's all silly nonsense. So, what will keep you awake? What will make you? Being involved, right? Being involved with the very thing that you call asleep. Which means you must see the implications of being asleep, how extraordinarily destructive it is. Right, sir? Your nationality, your division, your gurus, be involved in it. What prevents you, if I may ask, from being involved, from committing yourself? Pain? Huh? Pain will help you to commit yourself. Involved? Will sorrow involve you? Will sorrow help you to get involved in this? You understand, sir? Sorrow.
Oh, there's enough sorrow.
Huh?
There's enough sorrow given that happens.
Exactly.
Yeah, our involvement has always been related to the idea of sorrow, psychological
New word. Let us get the perspective.
What, sir?
This is a new word, involved.
I took up, doesn't matter. I mean, I'm asleep. What are you going to do? Your child is asleep, your neighbor is asleep, your gods and everybody is asleep. What are you going to do? Revolt against the established order? Huh? Throw a few bricks and stones at the minister? Will that wake you up? Huh?
Obviously, if I'm awake, I live differently.
You're not awake.
No. But what do I do is what is imposed on me. For example, nagging.
So I'm asking you, sir. I'm your child. I'm your son. I'm asleep. How will you awaken me?
I'd care for.
You got a child, sir, haven't you? Have you given your heart to him, to understand him, to find out, You haven't. You are asleep and the child is asleep.
Not all that simple to say that. See, the attention, of course, is not 24 hours, but the attention is there, sir. I'm not able to make myself clear.
Now, sir, what will make people awake? What will make you and me keep awake? Feeling, love. Have you got love? Feeling? Huh? Feeling. What do you mean by feeling, sir? Awareness of relationship. You see, we are moving from one thing to the other. We don't stick to one thing. Compassion. Have you got it? God. Look, sir, let's stick to one thing, please. Part of me thinks it is awake, and that says I must waken the other part. Through effort, through reward, through punishment, through fear, I force it. And yet it doesn't happen. So I say to myself, what is going to make me keep awake? What? I have tried so many things. You follow, sir? Drugs, scriptures, religious entertainment, and this and that, 10 different things I've tried. And I'm still asleep. So what shall I do? I can't, after experimenting with these things and testing their futility, I can't say, well, there is nothing more, and just go back to sleep. Right? Are you following this, sir? Now, have I tried these? Have I tried taking drug? Of course, here in this country you don't. I haven't. Have you tried giving up your religion? Have you? Huh? No. Why don't you do it? Find out. Huh? Wait, I'm coming to that, sir. Wait, sir, I'm coming to that. Drug, religious beliefs, dogmas, superstitions, and all the rest of it. Have you given that up? To test whether you're awake or not. Holding on to all that, say, I'm trying very hard to keep awake. Then you have, if you don't have religion, you have rationalization. Rationalize everything. That doesn't. Reason doesn't keep you awake. You can become extraordinarily clever at reasoning, but it is not a state of mind that is awake. And then you try meditation. You try so many things. Have you tried any of them? Huh? Right? Have you tried them? Partly? That's it. I'm a bourgeois, middle class, and I partly try a little bit of that, partly a little that. So, you see, sir, what you are saying? That you don't want a change, a mutation at all. You don't want to wake up. Right, sir? Because when you wake up, you might be facing tremendous danger. You might say, well, the whole thing is out. Your family, your gods, your society, your beliefs, you're out. And that might be frightening. That's very frightening. Therefore, the unconscious says, don't do it. Right? The unconscious, which is fear, says, don't do it, old boy. So he said, all right, I go to sleep, that's all. You really don't want to wake up, full stop.
Is it as simple as that, sir?
Oh, very.
Because my conformity
Now you're right. Look, watch it, how it's being rationalized.
is only partial.
No, watch how it is being rationalized. And tomorrow he says, it's all right, I've accepted the condition, and I've got my family, my children, my job, my gods. I have to, because I am part of society. You follow? All this happens and I am back to sleep. As that gentleman pointed out, if you drop religion, you rationalize. And he is doing that very cleverly.
No, sir.
Not too cleverly, because you can spot it.
I understand that it's no use nagging. I stop it and I don't nag. Well, is that the right way to...
I don't know what you're talking about, so we're not talking about nagging.
No.
We are talking about mind keeping awake. And apparently, nobody wants to keep awake, because it means an extraordinary thing. It's breaking loose from all mooring. Therefore, the unconscious says, by Jove, your mind isn't capable of this. You're too stupid. Don't risk it. You don't know what will happen. Hold on to what you already know. Much safer. Though you are dull, stupid, hold on. Or you invent a new thing and hold on to that. So, sir, let's be very simple about this. To keep awake demands that you let go to the things that you hold dear, which give you pleasure. So see what has happened, sir. We said, can one be? Is it fear? One lives in fear. And fear is habit. Because I'm used to so many things that I must have them all. And fear, deep down, we see, brings about paralysis. Right, sir? That's what has taken place. Fear has paralyzed you. Not of the known, not of the unknown, but Fear of letting the known go. Fear of letting go, religion, rationalization, your clever intellectual acrobatics, theories, let go, beliefs. Which means you are really frightened to let go. And that is the reason why you are asleep. Therefore, there is no love. We talk about love, we talk about compassion, we go out of the gate and see a dog being beaten or going hungry, you just pass it by. Yes, sir. Now, who is to blame for all this? Right? Who is to blame that I've been put to sleep? Who? My mother? My father? The society? The culture? Do, sir, please. Who is to blame for all this? Who is yourself? You are the result of society, your conditioning, your culture, your beliefs, your dogmas. Go into this question. So who is to blame? Nature? That's it. Sir, look, sir. I've been given a life. One life is good enough. What have I done with it? What have you done with your life, sirs? And you say that so casually, drifting? When you use that word drifting, doesn't it give you tremendous shock? What have you done, sir, with your life? What? What? I'll show you. It's like a piece of earth that has been given to you. 10 acres have been given to you. You say, what can I do with it? And remain outside? Don't you want to cultivate it? Grow things on it? Make it beautiful? Enrich it? See the beauty of shadow and light and trees? Don't you? Here is one, somebody has given you this life, not God, so it's there. What are you doing with it? Meditating, breathing, yoga, you follow, going from one thing to another, doing. What are you doing actually? Huh? What? I can't hear. Struggling. What for? What have you done? Not what to do. Oh, sirs, what's the mess? What are you doing, I said, not what you are going to do. What have you done, sir? You have lived 40 years, 20 years, 60 years, 80 years. What have one done with it? Don't you ever ask? And if you are just drifting, as the gentleman pointed out, you are asleep. And you wake up one morning dying and say, oh my God, I've finished. So, sir, to live in fear is to be asleep, whether you know it or don't know it. To have fear carefully tucked away in some recesses of your mind and heart. You may occasionally look at it, get more apprehensive, and then push it back tight. To live there like that must inevitably create darkness. Do you understand, sir? Darkness. That means sleep. So, to keep awake is to pull out that fear, look at it, tear it out, put it on the table and look at it. And then you'll find out who is looking at it. Then the problem arises. Who is the observer and the observed? You don't do that, but you discuss how to bridge the gulf between the observer and the observed. It's no meaning. So you have to invite or pull out that fear out of your heart and mind and your very roots of your being. Pull it out. And don't go morbid over it. Or say, my God, I don't know what to do with it. You know very well what to do with it. To look at it. That is, when you have a child whom you love, you look. You observe. You study him. You learn. You don't scold him. You don't beat him up. You say, you observe. And you observe with eyes great love in it. And the same way, to observe the fear with affection. To look at it. That means you must be aware of your fear. Not discard it, not resist it, not rationalize it, just to watch it. As you watch a child. Then you will see, sir, fear doesn't exist at all. Then you are out in the open. That is, where there is fear, there must be darkness, and therefore sleep. And if you want to be asleep, be asleep. That's the safest thing to do. Be asleep. You can quote Gita and, attend Gita classes and all the rest of this tamasha circus. But it's all asleep. Go to it. But if you say it is absolutely necessary to keep awake, then you have to invite, open the doors to your own fears. And they'll come plunging in, I assure you, rushing in. In your dreams, in your walks, they'll come out, and then you can look. Then you will find out how to look. It'll be your looking, your learning. And you will know what it is to be free then. That means to love.